Welcome to the fifth video of this series where we look at algebra questions in previous question papers. We are now looking at 2022. So November 2022, the questions are pretty much standard, except 1.1 is quite interesting because we are not given the quadratic equation in standard form that you usually get. There's also some interest in 1.1.4, given that we have a set equation but the set is not isolated. And then of course there's 1.3, which is an exponential expression. Usually we are given an exponential equation, but here it's an expression. 1.4 is a special question. So let us look at each of these questions. Starting with the first question, what usually students do, which is a mistake, is that they want to multiply out. So they will say 3x times x will be 3x squared, and they multiply out and they have standard form. This is already factorized for you. From here, all you need to do is to just write the solution. So you'll have 3x equals to 6, you divide by 3 on both sides, you have x equals to 2, and then you also have x equals to minus 2. That's all you need to do. For the quadratic formula, you are given the equation in standard form. So you write down your formula, you substitute the values of a, b, and c in the formula, and you get your values of x. X equals to 2,82 or x equals to 0,18. Moving to the third question, you have a quadratic inequality, but it is not in standard form. So you get it in standard form by moving x to the left hand side and it becomes minus x. You factorize. Minus 10 plus 9 is minus 1. So you can see minus 10 plus 9 is minus 1. And if you say minus 10 times positive 9 will be minus 90. So these are your critical values, x equals to 10 and x equals to minus 9. The question said greater than, so we are looking where the graph is above the ground, So that is from x equals to 10 and x equals to minus 9. So x is less than minus 9 or x is greater than 10. For your third equation, you are given x minus 7 root x equals to minus 12. So we need to isolate the set. So what I did was I took it to the right hand side and took minus 12 to the left hand side. So now the set is isolated. But what you can do is you can swap position. What was on the left is now on the right, and what was on the right is now on the left. You square both sides. If you square both sides, you have 49x on the left hand side, you have x plus 12 twice. So now you simplify, you transpose the minus 49x to the right, and now you have standard form. From this standard form, you factorize minus 9 minus 16. Minus 9 minus 16 will give you minus 25. Negative times negative is positive. 9 times 16 is 144. So you get your values of x equals to 9 or x equals to 16. And what is important is that you must remember that you need to reject. Most people will leave it as it was left in this solution, but you need to go back and substitute the values. Like if you substitute 9 here, square root of 9 is 3. So you will have 3 times negative 7, that is negative 21. And if you put 9 again here, so that will be 9 minus 21. So if you say 9 minus 21, that would be minus 12. So 9 is fine, but minus 16 is the one that you are supposed to reject. For a simultaneous equation, you have two equations. You label them equation 1 and equation 2. You then take the simpler one, which is equation 1, and you solve for y. You substitute y in the unused equation 2. Then you get to your standard form. You simplify your standard form. You factorize. You find the values of x. Once you have your values of x, which is x equals to 2 or x equals to minus 1, you substitute in equation 3. So you get your y values to be 2 and minus 4. So for this exponential equation, just forget the bottom part for now. So you have this expression, you have 2 times 5 to the power n minus 5 to the power n plus 1 plus 5 to the power n plus 2. We reverse the laws. Once we've reversed the laws, we can think about a common factor, which is 5 to the power n. We take that with 5 to the power n times 22. Now, if you multiply any number, any positive number, because 5 to any power will be positive, because 5 is positive. If you multiply it with an even number, then any positive number multiplied by an even number is even. So that would be your conclusion. That will give you your final answer. Your special question is this one. Y to the power y plus 1 over 32 equals to square roots of 96 to power x. Now roots and powers and exponents, they work hand in hand. So what we can do here is, if you have a root, you can also express it, because this is a square root, as power half. So that's why we have x power x over 2. So what I also did here was I brought this 32 to the numerator, that is why instead of having power 1 or exponent 1, now we have exponent negative 1. So I also realized that 96 is 3 times 32. So this means now we have 3 on this side, 3 on that side, 32 on this side, 32 on this side. And this is all raised to power x over 2. This power will then be distributed to both bases. And now we can say that we have 3 to the power y plus 1. It must be equal to this one as well, because there's an equal sign in the middle. So y plus 1 from our exponents is equal to x over 2, and minus 1 is equal to x over 2. So we can solve for x here. X is equal to minus 2. And then we substitute x in this second equation. So instead of x, we now have minus 2. And minus 2 over 2 is 1. And then we transpose the positive 1. So you get your final answer to be y equals to minus 2.